My second question now was about the contagion of stress. Once upon a time I Googled, because I had a thesis, I Googled, is stress contagious? And it came up and it said it was contagious. Is it contagious? In what circumstances do we need to be aware of that contagion? And more importantly, how and why is it contagious?
Okay, I will tell you the answer to that, but I'm going to ask you a question first. Have you ever walked into a room with someone and by the time you've left that meeting with them, you just feel so drained? Okay, so
Yeah,
you know, so you know the feeling. So I'll tell you how it works physiologically. I'm going to start with something else to like build you up to this story. So did you know that women who live together or work closely together will synchronize their menstrual periods within 2 or 3 months?
Yeah, I found this out many years ago and it has completely changed my perception on so many things. Because I have to be honest, I'm a very sort of logical, I need like science and evidence. And so I always thought about, I don't know, physical things. Like if I can't see it, it doesn't exist.
Yeah.
It's kind of been my like framework for thinking about life.
Yeah.
And when I heard about that, I checked it was true, found out it was true, and it broke the frame in which I think. Because if there are if it's possible that invisible forces now between me and you are interacting with our bodies, I go, well, then what else is possible? Sorry.
I'm already using a certain form of eye contact with you to create emotional resonance.
Uh-oh. What have you done to me?
We're going to get sidetracked. Do you want to go back to the hormone?
What kind of eye contact are you using with me? Tell me.
So basically...
We'll go back to the hormone thing. We'll just park that.
We'll park that. It's related.
Okay.
So when a baby is born, one of the ways that it learns what emotion the mum's experiencing, how it understands its own emotions, you know, everything that grows over childhood and teenage into, you know, pro-social behavior, starts off mostly with eye contact with the mum. So at first they can hardly see anything. They can just kind of see two blobs. And then they start to understand more about like micro facial expression changes and stuff. But eye contact with the mum is hugely important. So most people are right-handed. So they'll be holding their baby in their left arm so they can still use their dominant hand to do stuff. And that means that when you gaze at your baby, your right eye is looking into their left eye. And then that interaction that from the optic nerve is going around the brain. It's impacting the amygdala where emotions come from. And it's creating this emotional resonance loop that's part of how the mother and the baby bond. So that right eye to left eye contact is the most bonding eye contact that you can have with someone. Now you could say, oh, but my mum was left-handed, or you could be left-handed. But, you know, if I'm taking a chance on trying to build that bond with someone, that's the statistically most likely one to create good resonance between you.
So you walked in here and you started looking in my left eye?
I waited till we sat down. I gave you a hug. You gave me a hug, you know. So all of those little things, they start to... And, you know, we've laughed about a few things before we've come on air. Those are the sorts of things that create like higher levels of the bonding hormone oxytocin. So you're more likely to lower your guard, trust the person, take a healthy risk. So, yeah, I mean, like I said, I know that stuff. So I live my life like that.
Just want to make sure I've got that clearly in my mind so I could repeat that to someone else later.
It's great for dating.
Yeah, of course it is. I think we might go down that path a little bit. But the reason that works is because there's this association in our brains that if someone is looking into your left eye, it kind of triggers something, a bonding response that is quite innate in us.
Yeah.
Is that the TLDR of it?
Yeah.
Okay. Super interesting. What else? If I'm trying to bond with someone, so everybody listening to this right now, whether they're in work, they're in sales, they're looking for a partner, whatever, it's a nice little trick to look into someone's left eye. I'm going to only look into your left eye for the rest of the
With your right eye.
How do I'm just looking with both.
Yeah, you feel like that. But once you start doing this, I promise you will notice a difference.
Okay. What else? What are the tricks to encourage bonding?
Encourage bonding. So physical interaction. Yeah. So, you know, depending on the appropriateness of it, minimum handshake, maybe a hug, maybe a kiss on the cheek, you know, depending on what situation you're in.
I do this handshake where we hugged, so we didn't handshake. Many years ago, I read an article that if when you shake someone's hand, you put the other hand over the top of it, it creates a sense of warmth and trust. So I've been doing that for 10 years now. give them my left hand or my right hand, and then the other hand goes over the top of it.
Yeah. It's definitely extra. And you see this in a lot of kind of more ancient cultures, that there is like more of a handshake than what we do, which seems it's just one hand and it's quite brief and stuff. So yeah, the more of that kind of physical touch that you can get, the best. So, you know, everyone that I've met since I've come in this morning, I've either shaken hands with them or hugged them. And I would not do that.
Is there anything else in terms of encouraging the release of oxytocin that you're aware of? What are the behaviors that increase that bonding chemical in our brains?
Eye contact and touch are the main ones.
Okay.
Laughing together is another one. And then not to do with another person, but if you take a bath rather than a shower, then you'll release more oxytocin. Massage helps. Well, you're immersed in warm water, so it feels like a hug.
So you would theoretically get out of the bath and be kinder and happier, and more people would want to bond with you more.
Well, you'll be more in the mode of
bonding,
doing that, yeah.
So interesting. What about vulnerability? Because I heard shared struggle is one of the things that releases oxytocin.
Yeah, so going through something not necessarily traumatic, but that's highly emotional, that is very bonding as well. So we see this a lot on the reality shows where people are like, oh, we're going to be friends for life. You know, if you do something like a skydive or a bungee jump in a group, then, you know, you do feel more bonded to those people.